Hello, hello, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. Wait, sorry. Wait. Hi, Nike. I'm going through some technical difficulties. Hold on. Oh no. Select settings. Is my mic crackling? I feel like it's kinda crackling. I'm sorry. Wait, why isn't it recognizing? You're right back. Hello. Okay, so are you sure? Are you sure it's not crackling? Because every time I record something from OBS on my laptop, I can hear it crackling so hard. And I also got flack from like some members of Balangay that it sounds like I'm underwater, which to be fair is on brand, on brand. Sorry, I'm going through some technical difficulties. A few seconds. Hello, hello. Can I hear myself? Okay, it doesn't sound so that bad. It doesn't sound that bad, right? Right. Can I start again? Can I start again? Hold on. Once more with feelings. Let's pretend this didn't happen. Let's pretend that airplanes are like shooting stars in the night sky. Ow! Okay, third time's the charm. Magindarang araw and welcome to this rainy day Saturday. I said Friday. This rainy day Saturday's folklore streaming. This happens like my name is Maya Magindara. I do folklore storytelling every last Saturday of the month, and for today our topic is gods and goddesses. How this usually goes is I select 5 stories from a bunch of anthologies and based on some theme, and I tell them, and you guys can suffer with me about how kind of weird Philippine folklore is. So for today's stream, it's gods and goddesses, and also once again, sorry if my mic is crackling. I still like OBS had an update once, and ever since that update, I haven't actually managed to successfully fix my audio issues. So yeah. How's the audio, by the way? Is it good? Does it have problems? If it does, just let me know. So wait, where did I put things? What is this? Okay. Oh, I didn't know I had this. Had it. Uh-huh. I had this left over from karaoke. Wait. It's too big. That's what she said. There we go. Let's just put this here. And let's put this here. Go. Let's remove that for a while. So I have 5 stories right now about Philippine gods and goddesses, all from, again, the compilation of Damiana Eugenio. I need to expand my story collection at some point. But for now, this is what I have. Alright, so our story choices. Sorry, hello, and welcome to the stream once again. 4 times the charm. I'm Maya Magindara, cannibal mermaid VTuber, folklore storyteller, and today we have 5 stories about gods and goddesses of Philippine folklore from different groups. I don't know what to choose first. Let me just put up a poll once more. Because where's my Twitch? Video producer. Where? How do I make a poll again? Why is my streamer starting? Okay. So full disclosure, the weather is terrible and I have been suffering through a few electrical outages like for the past 30 minutes or so. So if this stream suddenly conks out, that's the reason why. Let me set up a poll on which story to tell first. Hello Clovis, welcome to the stream. We are going to talk about folklore, about gods and goddesses in the Philippines. Which story should first? I'm just setting up a poll on which story do you guys want to hear first. So have hot Bicol daddies, zaddies, plus one daughter. Oh no, it doesn't fit. What was the other stories? Is fun. It doesn't fit. Let's pretend that's spelled correctly. Our girl husband. What else were my stories? They're kind of weird. God turns in evil. And let's set this up for 3 minutes. Which story do you guys want first? Remember when I had this poll and hello, welcome, welcome. I just set up a poll on which story we should tell first, Nike. I hope you had a fun time with Mommy Alien. If you were here before, Hot Bicol Zaddies was one of my first was a part of one of my first folklore storytelling. So, but you know that that podcast caught us simping. Tabi Tabi po caught us simping for Hot Bicol Zaddies. We have 3 votes right now for Bicol Zaddies, 1 vote for husband stealing. Husband stealing ones are wild though. Like, I thought in our folklore, just like in the Greeks, it's the gods that steal women. No, there are more stories about women stealing dudes. Don't fuck with me. I am preparing for hot. Also, if my mic conks out, I'm sorry. I really have been working on a few audio difficulties. I hate it. It's the worst. Are you the only one who chose Stargirl Steel's husband though? Probably. I can't tell. I can't see on Twitch who chose who. Wait, yes I can view poll breakdown. Nope, no I can't. I can't see who voted. Back. Wait, I could put it on a source? I can put it as a source. Let's go, Beagle Zaddies. Okay, let me just put a browser source for the poll. Nice, I didn't know you could do that. Too big. That's what she said. Yeesh. Hot Beagle Zaddies is winning. It's taking the lead. There's how much left on this poll? I can't see it. I can see the clock. I can't see. I could just end it at this point, right? Hot Beagle Zaddies is winning. Let's go. Hot Beagle Zaddies. Hello. Thank you for the follow, Small World J and Elohime. Welcome to the stream. My name is Maya Magindara, Hannibal Mermaid VTuber, and every last Saturday of the month have folklore storytelling here in this channel. And for the first story, Hot Beagle Zaddies won. Hot Beagle Zaddies. All right, let me turn off that browser source. You missed people simping for Beagle Zaddies. I accidentally left caps lock on. Wait, why is it caps locked? Oh, done. Like font regular. Caps lock for added zaddies. Yes, hello Elohim. It's just in time for. Okay, I accidentally put it in uppercase. No wonder. Aswang. Ghost fire. Put that on 2 lines so it doesn't completely cover every color. Make it visible. There we go. Our first story is Aswang steals fire from Gugurang. It is a story from the Bicol region. Aswang being the god of evil and Gugurang being the god of good or something. I don't know. I don't. Maybe I'm biased. I don't like Gugurang that much, especially not in this story. But okay, let me just take a sip of water. Should pause it directly from Spotify territory. All right. So this is the story about Aswang and how he stole fire from Gugurang. Alcron already knows this. I know. Why so? Why so? Long ago, when the world was still young, and the good and evil gods were not yet enemies as they are now, they were friends, each living separately in a mountain in Bicol. One report even said that they were brothers. Gugurang, the good god, lived inside Mount Mayon, and Aswang, the evil one, inside Mount Malinaw. As gods, they had control of the welfare of the people. But Gugurang was more powerful than Aswang, who was merely a subordinate. The former was the chief deity of the Bicols. Have they done bad things like Zeus? The women do. Surprisingly, it's the women who steals husbands, but that's for the next story. Back to Gugurang and Aswang. Now, hello Netizer, welcome to the stream. We have just started telling our first folklore. It's Aswang steals fire from Gugurang. Quick refresher, Aswang is the god of evil of the Bicols. He lives in Mount Malinaw. Gugurang is the god of good and he lives in Mount Mayon. Now, Gugurang was given full control over the people, who learned to look up to him for protection or for advancement. Whenever the people disobeyed his orders or wishes, he would cause the pit of Mount Mayon to rumble terribly. The people, in time, took this as a sign or warning and accordingly mended their foul ways. Or if their sins were beyond forgiveness, Gugurang would make the volcano erupt to wipe out the sinners. Gugurang then became a symbol of good, ready to punish evil. When the people saw the fire flowing out of the crater of Mount Mayon, they would grow afraid. They would then offer a sacrifice to him to appease his wrath, and the priestesses would officiate this ceremony. Always when they committed wrong, there would be a loud moaning of the earth, oh, sexy, excuse me, followed by an eruption of fire and lava. Now, Let's go to Asuang, who had no fire inside his abode inside Mount Malinaw. He wanted to be as powerful as Gugurang at least. If the people aroused his wrath, he wanted to subdue them by fire or rumbling in Mount Malinaw. So he asked Gugurang to give him some fire. But Gugurang refused. How dare you ask for my fire? Gugurang thundered. The earth trembled. Don't you know that when the fire in my seat is carried by hands such as yours, the whole world will be set on fire? Yes, Odin, moaning of the earth. But I will be very careful, replied Asuang. Huh, be careful. I myself with all my power cannot handle it. But how can you threaten people with it if you can't control it? It's not my will that does it, said Gugurang. It's someone else that you or I do not know, nor will ever know. But brother, the rainy days are coming, and I need fire to make me warm in Mount Malinaw. Why? You have lived there for many years, and this is the first time that you have asked me for it. What will you use the fire for? Look at your people, they can live without it. Well, as Wang said, it's time you give me fire now. Give them fire, burst Gugurang. The earth shook and the people were more afraid. But soon Gugurang, who earlier said he had no control over this, but look at him control it, quelled the commotion. Aswang himself was frightened. He never saw his brother that way before. They are not fit to have it, said Gugurang. They must make themselves worthy. Well, said Aswang, brother, am I not worthy? You lazy god. Look at your ragged mountain and compare it to my beautiful Mount Mayon. It is the most beautiful mountain in the world, said Gugurang, who doesn't really get out much, but fine. Aswang argued with him for a long, long time. But Gugurang would not budge an inch. Aswang suddenly discovered that Gugurang was all-powerful. So, he narrowed his eyes and smiled with sinister import. He decided that from now on, he will oppose his brother. Yes, they're just showing off their pee-pee, that's right. But it's mountains. You want to be the omnipotent power? Aswang cried. But between us two, there is not much difference. Why must I live in a humble place like Mount Malinaw while you sit here gloating over your power unlimited and unchecked? Stop! The earth shivered as Gugurang stamped his feet on the ground. Aswang only smiled this time. That made Gugurang angry all the more. He struck out, but before his blow could land, Aswang had vanished already. Gugurang was greatly amazed by this, a new power of Aswang in making himself invisible. Then, from a short distance in the room came a voice of the evil one. If I can't get the fire from you in goodwill, then I will be bad. I will steal it. Try, and before you can do, I will cut your mountain in two, said Gugurang, and so Aswang doesn't give a shit anymore. He says, then let there be war between us, countered Aswang. Thus good and evil became enemies from that time on. What is that clip that says Ayo? I'm gonna listen to it after this one. So now there's war between the god of good and the god of evil because the god of good refused to give fire to the god of evil. Motives were many to prove that Aswang was ambitious. It could not be doubted that the power to rule intrigued him. He was determined to oppose every move of Gugurang. He gathered around him evil counselors and evil spirits, whom he sent to earth to turn people to evil ways. After that, there was much immorality, lawlessness, and crime. Gugurang in no time found out that it was Aswang who caused all of these things. He sent pestilence to the barrios, and for a moment the people turned to the omnipotent for protection. Hello, Noodle Cha, and welcome to the stream. We are uh yes, it's very sharp. We are telling the tale of how Aswang, the Bicol god of evil, is trying to steal fire from Gugurang, the Bicol god of good. And so now, where was I? So Aswang sent pestilence to the barrios, and for a moment the people turned to the omnipotent for protection. Gugurang asked them for another sacrifice and warned them to follow his commandments strictly or be exterminated by flood or eruption, the god of good, everyone, threatening people. Against Aswang himself, Gugurang was powerless to do anything. It seemed that in a twinkle of an eye, Aswang came to possess hidden powers hitherto denied him. Gugurang particularly guarded his fire, lest his enemy make good of his threat of stealing it. He assigned his trusted helpers to guard the symbol of his power. He was afraid, besides, that if the fire were to go out of its confines, the world would be consumed in a mighty flame. But, in spite of that, Aswang was able to enter and locate the guarded object. And with many guiles and wiles, he bribed the guards with gold. The temptation was too sweet to be denied. Hence, Aswang obtained possession of Gugurang's fire. All he needed was a lot of money. Putting it inside a coconut shell, he ran with it. Gugurang in his throne suddenly noticed that everything around him turned black, and that there were cries in the bowels of the volcano. And outside, the world was on fire. Every barrio that Aswang passed by caught fire. "Aswang!" Gugurang cried, and with this he flew into the air pursuing the thief. While terror reigned among the people who were powerless against this flame, Gugurang and Aswang raced for supremacy because fuck the people were having a fight, a brotherly fight between two immortals. It's fine, people, who the fuck cares? Gugurang must get the fire back or else he would be left without any power at all. All the air that surrounded them grew hot, but still they went madly on. Aswang was nearing his seat, and if he could just get inside his mountain before Gugurang, if he could get there, all would be lost for the good god, and everyone would be under the spell of this devil. Aswang braced up for the last stride, and just when he was about to descend Mount Malinaw, Gugurang caught up with him, snatched the fire in the coconut shell, and vanished with it. Aswang was greatly surprised. He could not make himself invisible, try as he would. Gugurang, on reaching Mount Mayon, returned the fire to its place, and everything was bright again. Now, before doing anything else, he set about stopping the flame that, was happening in the outside world, because the two gods were fighting over fire and no one gave a shit about the mortals. It's fine! It's fine. He bade the heavens to rain continuously, and there was rain, and the big fire was under control. The people at once offered sacrifices because they were convinced that it was Gugurang who caused the fire because of their wickedness. And so Gugurang punished the guards who, were bribed by Aswang by chaining them to the precipice. Then, for his revenge on Aswang, he ordered Linti, or lightning, and Dalugdog, or thunder, to strike hard against Mount Malinaw for defying him. Aswang attempted to bribe Linti and Dalugdog. "What is the use of your serving your master when you don't even receive any reward?" said Aswang, who's totally right. Please get paid. Proper compensation is important. "Why don't you join me? Here, you can have whatever you want. You can be your own master." Linti, quite taken, said, "You mean what you said?" "Sure," the wily Aswang answered. "It is true that we're driven like slaves over there at Gugurang's," said Thunder. And thus Kogurang sent his thunderbolt. Boom! Crash! For several minutes the world sank and bobbed and sank again. All the mountains cracked. Then a mighty crashing was made amid the din. Kogurang then ordered the lightning and the thunder to stop. All was over in a few minutes. Then the people noticed that what was once the perfectly shaped Mount Malinaw was now chopped in half. They thanked the Omnipotent for destroying the abode of the devil because, as far as they're concerned, Gugurang is good, Aswang is bad. It's that simple for mortals. Yeah, the Thor ng Pinas, kinda. Now that I think about it, it is kind of like Thor and Loki, isn't it? The people for a time believed that Aswang was killed, but later his influence was still doing havoc with the populace. Incidentally, the people got fire, for the enterprising few kept some of the embers to themselves, warm themselves during the rain that followed that huge flame. And so that's how humans got fire. The gods were fighting, the humans were like, oh yeah, fire, let's get some. And that's how humans got fire. Yeah, that is the tale of how Aswang stole fire from Gugurang, also known as the Hot Bicol Zaddies, because Tabi Tabi Po podcast drew it that way. Let me see if I can find that photo. I'm sure they won't mind. Would they mind? Would they mind? Would they? You know what? I'm just gonna screen cap it so. Oh! I lost the link. Easy fire in mythology. So yeah, hello Clovis. It sounds like you're listening to a school play nostalgia. I hope that's a compliment, but yes, thank you very much. Um Netuzer, yes, as Halia said, my teeth are sharp in order to eat people. Once again, I am Maya Maya Magindara, cannibal mermaid VTuber, and I am screen capping, including my likes, how Tabi Tabi Pod drew these hot pickle zaddies. Let's just make a new source, zaddies. They caught us simping yesterday. Where did I save this file? Yeah, I saved the file. Oh no. Oh yeah, thank you for the hydrate redeem. I'm gonna hydrate while saving this file. There we go. Yeah, so Tabi Tabi Pod drew this, and everyone, a bunch of folklore YouTubers on Twitter started simping. It's fine. So, what we have is two omnipotent immortals showing who has the bigger mountain. Before this drawing, I did kind of imagine them as Thor and Loki. You are now concerned about the abilities of my teeth. It's fine. It's normal cannibal teeth. It's fine. It's fine. Get in my mouth. Anyway. Since we're here, it's kind of connected. Aswang is actually the father of two female demigods. In Bicol mythology, it would be Oriol, who is a hot, sexy, hot spring lamia, and the other is Magindara. What is that clip? Anyway, so yeah, Aswang is the father of Oriol and Magindara, and if you guys don't mind, yes, hi. I do have a story about Oriol. It's fairly short. Hello, Emmy po. Say so, big fan po. Yes, I know you're so say so. I know. I know, Emmy. I know. So if you guys don't mind, is it okay if I tell a story about Oriol? I haven't found a story about Magindara yet, but I do have one about Oriol. What what incident, Alcron? What incident? Some humans had to trust the half god. What is Inang is so nobody talks about Harry. Who's Harry? Wait, swear to God, if this is a these nuts joke, I hate you. But also, I have that. I I put that on my censored words. just as a continuation of Aswang and what is that clip? I'm gonna take some time to listen to the clip. I muted Twitch. Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine. No one has to die tonight. Hmm. Let me see. Put the story title. Let me change the story title. It's not. I'm just making a joke on the intern that I ate. I didn't eat any interns, but maybe I took a few bites, but I didn't eat them completely. Baka masad ka eh kapag inubos ko. Anyway, there we go. There we go. I'm going to tell a story. It's very very quick about one of Aswang's two daughters. That would be a very sexy snake lady who hangs out in the hot springs and would be probably be the sister of the mythological Magindara. Hi? Hi? So yeah, let's go for a second story. Let's go for an intermission story. Let's talk about the snake enchantress. Snake, the sexy snake lady. There was once a fabulous snake in Tiwi Albay, reputed to have lured many men to destruction. When she wanted a victim, she would change herself into a beautiful woman. Yes, it is a story of my sister. She was the daughter of the god of evil, Asuang, and she was known as Irago or Oriol. Her abode, people believed, was under the Tiwi hot springs. Hello, Benedict Joso. Welcome to. If evil, why hot? Right? During moonlit nights, she would be seen by passers-by, sporting among the boiling waters. Those who had seen her without falling for her charms could attest to the fact that, at that time, Oriol was very captivating, and would add that if they didn't flee, they themselves would have been bewitched to death, too. Her powers were reported by men whose companions perished under her enchantment. The people would not, of course, believe such an incredible tale. Of course, they believed in Aswang, but not in any connection between Oriol and him. It was said that she would catch her victims and deliver their souls to her father. All right. Yes, Aswang is kind of the original Magindara's father is sisters with Oriol, who is the villainess of the story, maybe. Oriol's mode of enchanting men was very simple, as men are simple creatures. She would make herself very irresistible until the single out man became so mad that he had no alternative but to jump after her, and consequently, as he plunged into the hot waters, he got boiled alive before any help could arrive. But it was even said that the victim would rather die than be saved. As the man died, Oriol would change herself back to the form of a snake and take his soul out of him to deliver to her father, Asuang. Then, when she was ready to take the next man, she would change herself again to a beautiful woman. This went on for some time, and the headmen of the town interfered. The men, especially the young men, won't someone think about the young men, were growing fewer and fewer. They discussed means of getting rid of the enchantress, and subsequently they issued notices that no one should go to the hot spring under pain of punishment. But in spite of this, sexy snake lady, why wouldn't you go? The toll continued to mount. Right? Not the young man, not the young man. Boiled human sounds tasty, yeah. Oriol puts a new meaning to smoking hot, also true. Then they prayed to Gugurang, the god of good, to deliver them from such a scourge. And Gugurang who refused to do things for free, told them to offer a sacrifice to him, and then after that, hold an exorcism against Aswang. So the priestesses were summoned to make preparations. A shelter of palms known as the Gulanggulangan was built, and this served as the temple. What they sacrificed was not exactly known, which is sus. But it was the best that they could offer to their highest deity. After that, in another place, they performed the exorcism by using betel nut leaves. All finished, they expected that the power of Oriol was totally annihilated. But even then, they continued to hear of men being lured to the boiling stream because, once again, hot snake lady, naked in a hot spring. Why wouldn't you go there? So one day, amidst depressed spirits, arrived a youth, a boy. He announced that he had come to battle with the enchantress and to deliver the people from her. He was too young, again Ashota, and he was asked by the elders not to risk his young life and the young women especially, and treated him for their sake. But he could not be daunted. He was asked what his name was. He answered that it was not for him to reply. Call the FBI. Yes, I know, right? It's not my fault. It's mythology's fault. They described him this way, okay? He's young and beautiful. One dojin, yes. Just one. Just one dojin. On the chosen night, when there was a moon, the youth went to kill Oriol. He was dressed with charmed palm leaves, just charmed palm leaves, which was believed to immunize the wearer from injuries. In one of his inner pockets, he carried a magic stone, a perfectly round one, which he obtained in this way. On the third night after the full moon, he watched under a banana blossom, and at 8 o'clock the stone fell from the heart. He picked it up, and a giant appeared to snatch it from him. They fought, and he vanquished him, and thus he got possession of this magic stone. The stone had the power to make him invincible. He also carried a spear and a sword. Thus equipped, this young man, this young man battled with the snake enchantress. 3 days and 3 nights they fought. Oriol tried to enchant him, but she was powerless to use this weapon. Maybe he's not into women, who knows. She was beginning to fail herself. She called to her father, Asuang. Asuang answered. With an art all his own, he caused the youth's palm clothes to burn, so now he's naked. Oh no. Oh no, the young boy is fighting the sexy snake lady naked. It's not my fault. It's mythology's fault. Once again, it's mythology's fault. Ayo, hi Mino, hi Mion. It's fine. We are talking about very cultured mythology stuff. For a while, the boy writhed in agony. The snake bit him, but because of the stone he was carrying, I'm innocent, Your Honor, he was carrying, she could not cause any wound. They fought until the seventh day. On the 7th day, the youth succeeded in finding an opening in the scales of the wily snake, and his sword cut a big wound. No, stop making this story weird! This really sounds like no, Your Honor. This is mythology. I mean, yes, this is still nothing compared to the Greeks. So, yeah, on the 7th day, the youth succeeded in finding an opening in the scales of the wily snake, and he cut a big wound. He lay moaning and breathing fire. She again called to her father, who readily responded. You don't think you hear the sound alerts? Okay, I'm gonna make it a little louder. So we can all suffer together. What kind of opening? I don't know. Asuang sent a spirit to snatch the stone from the boy. Invisible to him, the evil spirit stole the magic stone, which, when he felt gone, his courage began to fail him. Oh my god. Seeing this advantage, Irago, or Oriol, lying on her deathbed, rallied and succeeded in sending the youth sprawling into the hot water. Now he's boiled and probably dead. The onlookers rushed to save him, but it was too late. But just as he died, Oriol died too. The people were very, very sad to see their hero die. They took the body of the young boy and buried it with the proper ceremonies amidst the lamentation of the entire. And that is the story of the Enchantress, also about Oriol, the daughter of Aswang, the hot zaddy of Bicol. So the hot zaddy had a hot Lamia daughter who hangs out in the hot springs and seduce this man, I guess. I guess. This isn't a hentai plot. The news headline: local kid fights off local snake deity. Yeah, that is surprisingly say so from Myon. Myon is making some surprisingly say so points. Clovis says this is very cultured. This is very cultured. We are talking about Filipino culture. I mean, we do have a manicable who tried to woo Maganda. Yeah. Yes. Yes, we. Okay, so that is it for our hot Bicol Zaddy plot and our hot Bicol Zaddy subplot. Let me run another poll for the next story. What did I have again? Oh, wait, I keep editing stream info. This is supposed to be it. Manage goals, manage poll. There we go. Here we go. I've been playing too much Valorant. I only have 3 stories left. Huh? I have started a poll. Back to. There we go. Why am I cute? Yes, hi, Sai Sai. Welcome to the stream. We are talking about Filipino folklore. We have like 3 more stories about gods and goddesses and their weird affairs. I love you too. I love you too. What's a bahag? A bahag is a loincloth. The loincloth. Uh, yeah, it's like a fundoshi. I forgot to message my own server. I really should automate that at this. Where did. Yeah. Hello, hello. You're still interested in how the female gods are like Zeus. They steal husbands. Anyway, I'm gonna take this whole time to take a quick break. Hold on. Redeeming stretch for myself. Be right back. Okay, Star Lady steals a husband one. To be fair, they both stories have similar themes. Let me just. I should probably stop pouring water so next to the. Hey, at least you know I'm hydrated. Let's go. Okay, Star Lady steals a husband. What's that story? Let me see. I know I have it bookmarked. Okay, there we go. I see where Halia gets to see the hobbies instead of the firstborn. I'm kinda. So, story title for. Bob. Whoa, so big. There we go. So this is a story from the Tinggian people who live in Abra. That's the region that just became the epicenter of that very, very recent earthquake. I hope everyone is safe. So this is about Gaigayoma is a star maiden and she went out to seduce, can you call it seduce? Aponitolau, who is a human man. So one day, this man called Aponitolau was weaving a basket under his house. When, yes, Mino, why? What's happening? Uh, Human man, yes, Mino, yes. This is about a goddess that's going to steal someone's husband. It's fine. Human man. Human man, not to be confused with Spider Man. Aponitolau sat weaving a basket under his house when he began to feel very hungry and longed for something sweet to chew. Then he remembered that his field still didn't have anything planted on it. So he called to his wife, who was in the room above, and said, "Come, Aponi Bolinayan." Wow, the names in this story are so long. "Come, Aponi Bolinayan. Let us go to the field and plant some sugarcane." So Aponi Bolinayan came out of the house with a bamboo tube that's used to hold water, and while she was going to the spring to fill it, Aponitolau made some cuttings and they went to the field, which was, a few steps, meters away from their house. Aponitolau loosened the earth with his long stick. That's what she said. I mean, it's a long bamboo pole, okay? It's a long bamboo pole that's used for planting, and then set out the cuttings that he had brought. Meanwhile, his wife sprinkled them with water from the bamboo tube, and when they had filled the field, they returned home, happy to think about the splendid cane field that they will soon have. After 7 days, Aponitolau went back to the field to see if the plants had lived, and he found that the leaves were already long and pointed. This delighted him, and while he stood looking at them, he grew impatient and determined to use his magical power so that the cane would grow very, very fast. This is also as sus as the last story. Sorry, all folklore is like this. In 5 days, he again visited the field and found that the stalks were tall and ready to chew. He hurried home to tell his wife, Aponi Bolinayan, about how fast their plants had grown, and she was very, very proud of her very, very powerful husband. Now, around this time, Gayoma, who was the daughter of Bagbagak, a big star, and Tinag, the moon, looked down from her home in the sky. And when she saw the tall sugar cane growing below, she was seized with a desire to chew it. She called her father Bagbagak and said, Oh, father, please send the stars down to earth to catch some of the sugarcane that I see, for I must have them to chew. I'm gonna take an intermission to fix my model, but have any of you guys actually tried chewing some sugarcane? Because it's great. It's delicious. I think there are some stalls in the city that are now selling chewed sugarcane, but it's great. A plus will kill for it. Yeah, right. You just chew it and like scrape it with your teeth and pure sugar, but not as sweet as processed sugar. It's great. It's great. Oh, is that what it's called? Palikutsai. Just yeah. It's is it better than candy? Kind of. It's like ancient chalky chalky. kind of. I can't really describe it. They say it's healthy. They say it's healthy. It's still sugar. I miss it. I'm gonna find some place that sells it. So anyway. Oh, alright. Unetizer. So Gaigayoma, daughter of Bagbagak, asked her father to go down to earth so that she could get some sugarcane. Bagbagak sent the stars down, and when they reached the bamboo fence that was around the field, they sprang over it, and each broke a stalk of cane and pulled some beans which Pony Bolinayan had planted, and the stems of those beans were gold. Gaigayoma was delighted with the things that the stars brought her. She cooked the beans with the golden stems and spent long hours chewing the sugarcane. When all the stars brought were gone, however, she grew restless and called to her father, the big star. Come, father, and go with me to the place where the sugarcane grows, for I want to see it now. Bagabak called many stars to accompany him, and they all followed Gaigayoma down to the place where the sugarcane grew. Some sat on the bamboo fence while others went on the middle of the field, and all ate as much as they wished. The day following this, Aponitolau said to his wife, Aponibolinayan, I am going to the field to see if the bamboo fence is strong, for the carabao will try to get and eat our sugarcane. Too fucking late, buddy. He set out. And when he reached the field and began looking along the fence to see if it was strong, he kept finding the stalks that the stars had chewed on, and he knew that something had been there. He went into the middle of the field and there on the ground saw a piece of gold, and he said to himself, How strange this is! I believe some beautiful girl must have chewed my cane. How did you know? And also which cane? I will watch tonight, and maybe she will return for more. Ayo, right? What? Yes. As darkness came on, he had no thought of returning home. But he made his meal of the sugarcane, and then hid in the tall grass near the field to wait. Okay, you guys are getting sus. It's fine. Wait, I just read it. Okay, damn. I'm going back to my sus story. By and by, dazzling lights blinded his eyes, and when he could see again, he was startled to see many stars falling from the sky, and soon he heard someone breaking the cane. Suddenly, a star so large that it looked like a flame of fire fell into the field, and then a beautiful object near the fence took off her dress, which looked like a star, and she appeared like the half of the rainbow, and she's naked. Okay. Never had Aponitolau seen such sights, and for a while he lay shaking with fear. What shall I do? He said to himself. If I do not frighten these companions of the beautiful girl, they may eat me. With a great effort he jumped up and frightened the stars till they all flew up, and when the pretty girl came looking for her dress, she found Aponitolau sitting on it. Wow, rude. You must forgive me, she said, but your sugarcane is very sweet, and we wanted some to chew." "You're welcome to the sugarcane," answered Aponitolau. "But now we must tell each other our names according to custom, for it is bad for us to talk until we know each other's names." Then he gave her some betel nut, and they chewed together, and he said, "Now it is our custom to tell each other our names." "Yes," said, "but you have to tell yours first." "My name is Aponitolau, and let me make this clear, okay? I'm married. I'm fucking married. I am the husband of Aponi Polinayan, and hold on. Okay. All right. There's some bonking going on. "I'm Gaigayama, the daughter of Bagabagak and Sinag up in the air," she said. "And now, Aponitolau, even if you have a wife, I'm going to take you to the sky, for I wish to marry you. You have no choice. If you're not willing to go, I shall call my companion stars to eat you." Yes, no toxic relationships, NTR. Aponitolau shook with fear, for he knew now that the woman was a spirit, and he dared not refuse, so he promised he would go with her. Soon after that, the stars dropped a basket that Gaigayoma had ordered them to make, and Aponitolau stepped in with the lovely star and was drawn quickly through the air up to the sky. They were met on their arrival by a giant star, whom Gaigayoma introduced as her father. And he told Aponitolau that he had acted wisely in coming, for had he objected, the stars would have eaten him, so you could marry this girl who you just met, or you could die. Mopo would love this topic. Probably. The potato boy is sus. Anyway, so Aponitolau had lived with the stars for some time, and Gaigayoma asked him to prick between her last two fingers. When he did, a beautiful baby boy popped out. This is how babies are made. You prick a woman on her fingers and a baby pops out. Science. They named him Takyayin, and he grew up very fast and was very strong. All this time, Aponitolau had never forgotten about Aponibolinayan, who he knew was still searching for him at Earth. And he had never been, and he's afraid to mention her to the stars because they might eat her. When his child was 3 months old, however, he ventured to tell Gaigayoma of his wish to return to Earth. Yes, a prick. Just a little prick. Nothing sus, right? At first, Gaigayoma would not listen to him, but he begged so hard that she at last consented to let him go for 1 month. If he did not return at the end of that time, she said, he would send the stars to eat him. Totally not a toxic relationship. NTR. Then she called for the basket again, and they were lowered to Earth. There, Aponitolau got out, but Gaigayoma and the baby returned to the sky. NTR what? No toxic relationships. NTR. Aponibolinayan was filled with joy at the sight of her husband once more, for she had believed that he had died, and she was very thin from not eating while he was away. Never did she tire from listening to his stories of his life among the stars, and so happy was she to have him again that when the time came for him to leave, she refused to let him go. That night many stars came to their house. Some stood in the windows while others stayed outside by the walls. And they were so bright that the house appeared to be on fire. Aponitolau was greatly frightened, and he cried out to his wife, "You have done wrong to keep me when I should have gone. I feared that the stars would eat me if I do not obey their command, and now they have come. Hide me, or they will get me." But before Aponibolinayan could answer, Bagbagak, the big star, called out, "Do not hide from us, Aponitolau, for we know that you are in the corner of the house. Come out, or we shall eat you." Trembling with fear, Aponitolau appeared, and when the stars asked him If he was willing to go, he dared not refuse. Among Us. Now Kaigayoma had grown very fond of Aponitolau, and she had commanded the stars not to harm him if he was really willing to return to her. So when he gave his consent, they put him in the basket and flew away with him, leaving Aponibolinayan very sad and very lonely. Silang nag-kidnap sila pang nagalit, I know, right? After that, Aponitolau made many trips to the earth. But at Gaigayoma's command, he always returned to the sky to spend part of the time with her. One day, when Takyayin, the son of Aponitolau and Gaigayoma, was a little boy, Aponitolau took him down to earth to see his half-brother, Kanag. The world was full of wonders to the boy from the sky, and he wanted to stay on earth always. But after some time, while he and Kanag were playing out in the yard, big drops of water would begin to fall on them. Kanag ran to his mother and cried, "Oh, mother, it's raining and the sun is shining so brightly." But Aponitolau, looking out, said, "No, no, those are the tears of Gaigayoma, for she sees her son down below and she weeps for him." Then he took Takyayan back to his mother in the sky, and she was very happy once again. After that, Takyayan was always glad when he was allowed to visit the earth, but each time when his mother began to cry, he returned to her. When he was old enough, Aponitolau selected a wife for him, and after that, Takyayan always lived on earth, and Gaigayoma always lived in the sky. And that is the story of Gaigayoma, who lives up above. To summarize, she kidnapped some guy's husband because he had a very sweet cane, like delicious cane, and she threatened to eat him if he would return to his wife, or rather, her servants would eat him. He returned to his wife. They had a child together. Their child preferred to choose to stay on the earth, and so Gaigayoma was very sad. The end. The end. And that is the story of Gaigayoma who lives above. No toxic relationships here, folks. Right? It sounds like a Star Mafia. Someone make a VTuber of the Star Mafia, please. Another poll? Last poll, probably? I have two more stories left. I'm surprised that the electricity hasn't conked out again. Oh no! It doesn't meet content guidelines. I need to change the spelling. Start poll. No? Hi. Can I start the poll now? Why? Why can't I say the origin of titties? Origin of... Start poll? Content doesn't meet guidelines. The origin of booba. Am I allowed now? There we go. Twitch said no. This is bad. There we go. Yeah, we have the origin of booba, and goddess gives man bahag and kind of kidnaps him. But I hope you're keeping safe and feeling better. Yeah, I'm doing better now. Booba might work. Booba definitely. Speaking of which, Pental got none, hun. Pental, are you here? You're being slandered. Anyway, Booba. The origin of Booba. They're all fortunately in just one book. Boba. Boba, Boba. I realize that I haven't bought anything for dinner yet. I might find a place with milk tea. So far, these pantheon of gods seem like a fun dynamic. I know, right? Wife stealing, murder. Fine, it's what gods do. Leaving people to burn. Order dinner. Okay, I'm gonna order. What do I want? It's 6 o'clock. What do I want to eat? Human flesh. Which kind of human flesh? Who has the bigger mountain? In the last stream, we also had who gets to make food. Panda is denying my existence. Okay. Many restaurants got a promo on human flesh. So you order something and then you ask the delivery guy if he's willing to order anything. Oh, there are only 4 milk tea. Why? Unfair. The Hot Spring Central. Big sis looking out. The origin of Boo. Need to Google something. Okay, this is a story from Zamboanga. Zamboanga. It's also creation. You can tell it's Adam and Eve, kind of. Yeah, actually it's very similar. This was also the story with the eel. Also Boo. There we go, it fits. Put my oh. So this is a story from the Subanon people. They are an indigenous group from the Zamboanga Peninsula. Also, I'm going to say the name Diwata a lot. It's not to be confused with Diwata the fairy. It's the name of a god. Diwata was the supreme ruler before the earth was created and lived in heaven with his son, Demowata. Then one day, weary of his surroundings, Demowata asked his father for another place to live in. Dad, I'm so bored. The heaven is so boring. So Diwata took a piece of the heaven and gave it to his son. He summoned his trusty, Balag, who presently appeared handsomely in a glittering body of gold to help Demowata carry a piece of heaven. The three of them made a long journey in search of a place on which uh, the new to make the new abode of Demowata. Hello, Habi, and welcome to the stream. I've just started the story of the creation of the earth and the first people according to the Subanon people of Zamboanga. So, once again, Iwata is the supreme leader of the gods. He has a son named Demowata. They have a servant named Balag. Balag is made of all gold. Demawata wanted to stop living in the heavens, so they are finding a place on which to place this new home of Demawata. At last, they found the right place, and Diwata named the piece of heaven Banwa, or which means earth, the language of the Subanon people. He installed a sun to light the new home of Demawata. Then he divided the Banwa into two into two by drawing a circle on it. Inside the circle, he made land appear. Outside, he placed the water. He filled the land with trees, plants, and animals. He named the beautiful place Langkanoyan. Then Diwata ascended back to heaven, and Demawata was left in his new abode, and Balag, the servant, stayed with him. Someone is starting a call on my Discord. Let me just that. Okay. Okay. I'm back. Demawata was very happy of his new home. This is kind of reminiscent to like some rich kid asking his dad for his own condo, right? He roamed around the beautiful garden. He played with the animals until he felt tired and sleepy. But he could not sleep because the sun was too bright. Dad, the sun is too bright. Asked Balag to go to the heaven and to ask his father to put out the light so he can sleep. So Balag went to heaven, and Diwata granted the request. Darkness filled Langkonoyan. Darkness filled Langkonoyan, and it soon became night. When Demawata woke up, the earth was still dark. So he asked Balag to request his father to provide him with a torch. Dad, it's too dark. Balag, tell my dad to make me a torch. Thank you. Diwata gave his son thousands of torches, which he scattered in heaven and became the stars. But Demawata wanted some light other than the stars could give, so once again he sent Balag to his father to give him a much bigger torch. Diwata gave him a big beautiful moon to light the earth at night. Demawata and the animals rejoiced. They played happily during the night under the light of the moon. Now, the animals chose to play during the night rather than during the day, and the noise annoyed Demawata. So he commanded Balag to complain to Diwata about the behavior of the animals. Diwata decided to pull the moon away little by little when Demawata would feel sleepy, and that's how we got the phases of the moon, probably. Demawata had everything he had asked for, but he was getting bored again. Dad, I'm bored, because he only had animals to play with. He longed for companions, but Balag didn't like to play with him. So he asked Balag to tell his father about his problem. Balag flew up to the heaven to tell Diwata about his son's wish. Diwata ordered Balag to gather the stones in heaven and place them inside a gold jar. Oh no, not a jar! Then Balag went back to earth and gave Demawata the golden jar. And Demawata poured out the contents on the ground. The small stones turned into elves and dwarves. The big one became giants. And Demawata was delighted with his new creatures. He enjoyed playing with them. Running races with the giants, he was amused by the elves and the dwarves and the dancing and the singing all around him. And Balag grew envious. He hated Demawata for treating him like a slave. In heaven, he was the best of all Diwata's attendants. He was Diwata's favorite trustee. He thought about killing Demawata. He knew which instrument could kill him. It was a golden sword called the Alice, which he kept in a golden trunk in heaven. So Balag gathered all of the giants, the dwarves, and the elves. He told them that he was the real son of Diwata because he could ascend to heaven while Demawata could not. The giants and the dwarves believed him. Immediately they devised a plan to kill Demawata. The giants and the dwarves dared Demawata to ascend to heaven to show his divine power. He asked Balag to get permission from his father to allow him to ascend to heaven. But Balag only smiled. This trick was working. He hurriedly flew to heaven, whereupon he saw Diwata sleeping on his golden hammock. So he stole the Alice sword from the golden trunk and hurriedly went back to earth. Balag saw Demawata sleeping soundly under a big shady tree. He took the golden sword and thrust it at the sun, the Demawata. But at the instant the heaven roared and opened up. A ball of fire fell to earth and struck Balag, after which Balag lay there, writhing in pain. His body was on fire. The golden sword that he was about to use to kill Demawata flew back to heaven. And when the fire was extinguished, Balag's body had become black. He was alive, but he could not stand. He had lost his feet, his arms. Diwata ordered Balag to live in the water. The once majestic golden Balag, now a lowly and ugly creature, crawled into the water, his abode, and he became the first eel. Diwata in anger drove out all of Balag's accomplices. The giants hid in the big trees and rocks. The dwarves and the elves took refuge in the big leaves of the trees and other plants. And Demawata was left alone in the midst of Langkonoyan. Of course, he would get bored again. Demawata begged his father to create another companion for him who should look like him in build, size, and appearance. He promised his father that if he failed again, he would go back to live with him in heaven. Diwata, after a moment of thought, decided to give Demawata another chance because, favorite son. He took a mass of clay and molded it in the likeness of Demawata. It took 7 days to finish his work. Huh, sounds like another story from the... Unfortunately, the mold cracked due to the sun Demawata was cast. Diwata took the cast to the river and sprinkled it with water. Immediately, the crack split open, dividing the molded figure into identical. They were the first humans in the world. They stood in front of Diwata and Demawata, and they were called Le and Lebon. Hydrate and also fix expression sensitivity because going haywire. See, face is great, guys. Now we have the first man and woman in this garden. Doesn't sound familiar at all. Diwata instructed his son Demawata to keep Le and Lebon away from the river. Should they disobey, misfortunes would befall them. Diwata planted a tree different from all the others near the river. He called it a bonga. Bonga, bonga. Not familiar whatsoever, no, no. This is a new story, I swear. This tree had the fruits that were the color of gold and grew in bunches. The bonga was a sign to Le and Lebon that the place was forbidden to them. If forbidden, why beautiful though? And Diwata gave Demawata a gong. He told him to beat the gong whenever he needed something. Then Diwata ascended back to heaven. Demawata was once again very happy. Le and Lebon also lived happily. They played in the garden, ate the most delicious fruit, raced with the animals, and sang with the birds. But one day, Le and Lebon reached the forbidden place. The place was very silent, for not a single creature had wandered there. Then, they heard a voice call their names. Lebon looked for the source of the voice until he came to the bank of a river. The water was cool as crystal. Lebon dipped her finger into the water. She could feel its cool freshness. She asked Le to do the same, and they enjoyed playing with the water. Then they heard a faint sound. They were surprised to see a great eel speak before them. Balag asked them to be calm and friendly. Balag wriggled, and the water rose like a fountain. Le and Lebon looked on with admiration. Then Balag asked Le and Lebon to look into the water. Lebon looked into the water and was surprised to see her reflection on it. She was pleased to see it in the water. This was the first time that she ever saw herself. Balag told her that he would acquire the perfection and beauty of a woman if she would obey his wishes. Balag asked Lebon to drink the water. Meanwhile, Le, who's boring, was staring at the bonga tree near the river when he remembered the instruction of Demowata. Immediately, he pulled Lebon away from the water and they both ran away. Fucking narc. Le and Lebon narrated to Demowata what they had experienced at the forbidden place, and Demowata warned them against to keep away from the river. Le and Lebon swore before Demowata that really we're not going back. Promise, promise, promise. And so as the day went on, Le and Lebon together with Demowata lived in peace and happiness. But one bright day, Lebon remembered the cool water in the river. He urged Le to go with her, but he refused. Later, she disappeared. Le got worried and he went to look for her. Of course, Lebon went back to the river. He found pleasure in seeing her own reflection in the water of, having some semblance of knowing what you look like. It's great. While she was playing in the river, Balag came from the water and greeted her. He promised her that she would become beautiful if she drank the water. But she told Balag, Demowata made her promise not to do it. Balag insisted that she would be content and she would have a beautiful life if she drank the water, and Demowata could not give them such contentment. He leapt at different directions and wiggled his tail. The water rose and danced before Lebon, tempting her to drink. She was surrounded by the dancing water, so finally, she raised her hands and formed them into a cup. Slowly and surely, caught the dripping water, she stared at it in her palms, then drank it, little by little. Right away, her body changed. The origin of Buba. Two bulges grew on her chest, her hair extended and covered her front. Lebon had become a complete woman. Soon after Le arrived, he was surprised to see Lebon transformed into a different being. Lebon approached him, bringing water in her cupped hands. She asked Le to drink it, but Le is boring and refused. Balag promised Le complete manhood, and ecstasy, that he had not yet experienced in his life. Lebon raised her cupped hands full of water and placed them near the lips of Le. She asked him again to drink the water, and Le opened his mouth and gulped it down. Immediately, hair began to grow on his body, his muscles developed. Le was transformed into a full man, and Balag shouted in glee. So your name? Yeah, pretty much, kind of. Then Balag offered Le the beauty of Lebon, which is not his to offer, but anyway, this is not the time to make that statement. Le stared at Lebon and was fascinated with her. He felt an inexplicable joy in his loins, a different feeling that he had never felt before with his heart and his loins. Then they heard a loud voice of Demowata calling their name. Le and Lebon trembled in fear, but Balag assured them of their safety in his loins. He hid them in his stomach by swallowing them. Demowata reached the place and ordered Balag to release them, but Balag refused. And so a battle ensued because, of course, Balag and Demowata fought in rage. The water overflowed its banks and caused a great flood. The earth trembled, trees were uprooted, the solid land disintegrated into different forms and sizes. The crumbled earth drifted into different places, forming islands, big and small, hid inside. At this point, Le and Lebon, the newly formed man and woman who just realized what their parts are for, are inside Balag, the giant eel, and We don't know what they're doing. Anyway, the only tree that was left was the bonga, which was at the edge of the river. The beautiful garden of Langkunoyan was destroyed, but Lag would not surrender, and the battle continued. Iwata heard the loud noise and descended into the world. He ordered Balag and the Muwata to stop fighting. He commanded Balag to, drop it. Whatever you swallowed, release it. Release. Bad snake. So he released Le and Lebon, even if, he hesitated. Wait, no. Balag didn't release him just yet. So Diwata got his lightning rod and whipped Balag with all of his might. He didn't strike Balag with the lightning bolt. He whipped him with the lightning bolt. That's kinda. Yeah. Diwata had a spray bottle, yes. Also that, he might be whipping Balag with a lightning bolt the same way you're whipping your dog with a rolled up newspaper. Now I'm imagining it like that. Balag screamed with fright and finally surrendered. He blew out of his mouth Le and Lebon. They finally appeared before Diwata and they were naked. Diwata spoke to them wrathfully. From now on, you and your people shall forever live near the river. You will live in sorrow, illness, hunger, and misery. But above all, you will lose your immortality. Balag rejoiced. Having been rejected by Dewata, Le and Lebon were now Balag's prized possessions. Oh, he got what he wanted. Demawata begged his father for mercy to give the first man and woman another chance. He promised to accompany Diwata in heaven, and Diwata's heart was softened by his son's pleading. He gave Le and Lebon one more chance. They would lead a good life, they would reconcile with Demawata, but if they live in sin, they will fall into Balag's kingdom. This story sounds so familiar, huh? I wonder where I read this from. Then Diwata and his son Demawata went up to heaven, and Balag crept the underworld. Le and Lebon were left by the banks of the river. This was their new home now. True to Diwata's words, Le and Lebon felt the pangs of hunger, which they had not experienced before. Lebon cried bitterly. Le looked for food and found that the bongo was left. He took its fruit, opened it, ate the nut. He felt the bitter, harsh taste. He took the leaf of the betel that clung to the trunk of the tree and chewed it together with the bonga. The acrid taste of the gapin complemented that of the bonga. He took more and gave them to Libon. The betel nut chew was the first meal that they had in their new like some right. That is the tale of the first people according to the Subanon people of manga. One spoiled kid wanted companions and he got it. Also, sexy little guy. I totally not like the story of Genesis. Not, no, no. Didn't plagiarize. I'm gonna take like a quick break. I realized that I forgot to do say a Filipino song. Story of what's this? Story of Boob. Never heard of. Yeah. What is this, Jenny? Jenny Brice? Eh? Never heard of. Never heard. Take a quick break, but I'm gonna play Guinevere. Yes, the story of Guinevere. That's right. Verb. Hello? Alright. Alright, I unmuted the mic. Alright, we're back, and this is our last story. It's a story from the Ifugao people. It is the story of Bugan and Kinguan. It is also, hi, hello, Alcron. And hello, Nike and Happy Bread. Are you having fun with Wrigley Party that's going on? This story is also about a goddess trying to marry a man. And it's in the book that I'm using, they're kind of speaking in a very antiquated way, so I'm going to try to translate it while reading. Also, it uses the word clout a lot to mean bahag or loincloth, so I'm just gonna say bahag. No one says clout like that. I'm using the myths compiled and edited by Damiana L. Eugenio, and sometimes the language is very boomer in this book. Hello, hello, Lualahati. Welcome. You're just in time for our last story in today's folklore stream. It is the story of Bugan and Kinguan from the Ifugao people. Welcome, welcome. Antiquated, you mean they filter in pre-colonial times? I mean they say thou and die a lot. Like, thou hast, blah blah blah, whatever, whatever. Which is weird because the other stories aren't written this way. So anyway, this is the story of Bugan and Kinguan, or the marriage of a goddess with a man. Yes, they flirted in pre-colonial times. As told by the Ifugao people. The wife of the god Hinumbian is Dakaue. He had no children except a daughter named Bugan. This Bugan was with her parents in Luktag. Let it be known that with these divinities of the highest region of the sky world, they do not see directly what's happening on Earth. But there are other spheres. The first calls the second, and the second the third, etc. According to this order, the first or principal god, known as Bungulngol, charges or gives orders to his son Ampual, who in return orders his son Balition, who then orders Lidum of the lowest sky region. Or the lowest sky region is also known as Kabunian. This Lidum is the one that communicates directly with the Ifugao people. That said, Bugan, daughter of Hinumbian, was at the time a maiden, while in Luktag, and her uncle, what is his name? The god of rain, Bayubi, told her to go down and amuse herself in the third region, Hubulan. So according to the wishes of her relatives, she went down to Hubulan where Tulugdogan, the brother of Balition, was. That said, Tulugdogan had gone to Hubulan to marry another woman named Bugan. The first Bugan, daughter of Hinumbian, was advised to marry Luktag, but she didn't wish to. And so they told herself to go off to divert herself in Hubulan. Having settled down in the sky region, her uncles advised her to get married there, but neither did she descend. Neither did she wish this. Sorry, my eyes are getting tired. Shit. Okay, so there are two Bugans. One that's supposed to marry Dolugdogan, the other supposed to marry Luktag. I forgot which is which. Okay, the daughter of Hinumbian was supposed to marry Dolugdogan. And then there's another Bugan that's supposed to marry Luktag. They're all in the same place at this point in time. The Bugan that's supposed to marry Luktag doesn't want to marry him. And so in view of her attitude to this question, Dolugdogan told her to descend to Kabunian and take her abode in the house of Lidum in her relative and the son of Galingan. Holy shit. The said Lidum wished to marry in Kabunian, but she also refused to do it. That the said Lidum wished to marry her to marry in Kabunian, but she didn't want to marry. Near the house or the town of Lidum, who has a wife called Lingan, there was a village called Habiatan, and the lord of the village also bore this name. Story is already getting confused. So there are two Bugans. There are two Lidums. Holy shit. Such being the case, the The said Habiatan went to the house of Lidum, and upon seeing the young Bugan in the condition of maidenhood, he asked Lidum, "Why does she not marry?" And so he answered him, "We have considered to let her do it, but she doesn't wish to do so. I, upon seeing that she does not want to get married nor to follow my advice to her, advice said to her, 'Why won't you get married?' And she began to laugh. I know, I'm just as confused. So there's this woman who refused to get married. She began to laugh, and I replied, 'If you don't want to get married in Kabunian, which is, if I remember correctly, Kabunian is the lowest region of the sky gods. Okay, Kabunian. It would be better then for you to return to your family in Luktag.' But then she answered, 'That's not necessary. I would like to stay here, and I shall take care to get married at my own pleasure, if I see someone to my liking. And then if I find that person, I'll tell you.' Abiatan, having heard this story of Lidum, said to him, 'According to this, I shall take this young Bugan to my rancheria and house in Habiatan, another sky region higher up than Kabunian, to see if she wishes to marry my son, Bagilat, who is the god of lightning.' And Lidum rejoiced, 'If Bugan desires, then she can accompany you at once.' They consulted the maiden Bugan, asked her if she wants to go to Habiatan with Habiatan to his house and village. But having arrived there and having observed the young god of lightning, Habiatan asked her if she wanted to marry him, and she said, 'No. How am I to marry Bagilat, grim as fierce as he is? Why, wait, no. Yeah, I told you the story is confusing.' She answered, 'Why would I wish to marry Bagilat, grim and fierce as he is, and making use of such an ordinary spear, when he never stops? Always he keeps running around in all of the parts of the sky world, through the north and through the south, through the east and through the west.' She told Habiatan that she did not wish to marry Bagilat, who kept running everywhere and anywhere, the lightning, because through his power he harmed plants and fruits and animals, and he might even injure himself. It's like marrying a fucking the Flash, but hopped up on acid." So Habiatan said, "You are fastidious, and I can see that you would have great difficulty in getting married in this region. It would be better if you returned once more to your parents." She said that she didn't want to return to her people, and that accordingly she would go to some other point more to her liking. That being said, she went down from the house of Habiatan, and casting a glance at the north, south, east, and west, she saw that the weather was clear and calm, and descended onto earth in a place called Hangaguan on or over Umbuk, which is where the Ifugao people live, and there was a young man called Hinguan. He was unmarried, naked, and without a bahag, because I don't know. And he was digging holes and wells for catching deer with a trap, as according to the custom of his. And he also had his own hut. This naked man digging a ditch, and also, I don't know, he's naked and digging a ditch for hunting reasons. And this is the man that Bugan saw. Why not? Why not be naked, right? He's alone anyway. He needed dojins in pre-colonial times, I guess. This storytelling is starting to get super sus. Upon seeing him, Bugan explained, "Oh my! A poor man! How unfortunate! He's also naked." And hiding the occurrence from Habiatan, she determined to return to the sky region in Luktag in order to tell her father, Inumbian, that it's her desire to descend to earth in order to get married to that poor naked man. Having obtained her father's permission, she made ready with the necessary provisions, consisting of a vessel of cooked rice and a bahag. In this fashion, she proceeded to Kikuan's hut and entered it, saying, "Who is the owner of this hut?" Yeah, I know, right? The amount of times folk stories mentions how one sees another person naked is numerous. In the earlier story, we had like this one farmer see a naked star lady and he got kidnapped. I don't think anyone gets kidnapped in this story. So, yeah, this goddess goes down to earth, bringing cooked rice and a loincloth, and he knocks at this man's house. Who lives here? I, answered King Guan, but I'm ashamed to approach you. You are a woman, and I'm naked. And she replied, Never mind, because I have a bahag for you. Wear these clothes that I made for you. But he did not approach her because he was ashamed, so she threw him the bahag from afar and ordered in order that he may cover himself. The surprised man expressed to her that his astonishment and said, Why do you approach here knowing that the appearance of a woman, when men are engaged in such an occupation, is an evil omen for the hunt? Apparently, women are not supposed to be with men when they're hunting. Oh. And she replied to him, By no means shall it come to pass as you think, but on the contrary, you shall be extremely lucky in it. For the present, let us eat together, and let us sleep this night in this tiny hut. Just sleep, nothing sus. It's fine. Tomorrow, you shall see how lucky we are in the hunt. Paamo pag siya ang hinahunt? Yeah, it seems like she's hunting King Guan instead. The following day, upon going to visit the pits that are supposed to be traps for deer, they found them full. King Guan killed the quarry and spent the rest of the day carrying the carcasses to his hut. He kept alive only two little pigs, a male one and a female one, which he delivered to Bugan so that she might tie them to their dwelling place, while he was bringing in the rest of the dead game. On the second day, Bugan asked King Guan, Why do you live in such an evil place? And King Guan answered her, Because my parents are incapable of giving me what I need. Then, said him, Let us go to Kiangan, and he consented. Leaving then the dead game in the hut, they carried with them only the two live piglets. Okay, this story uses quotation marks for the piglets. Now I'm not sure if they're actually piglets. Piglets, quote unquote. King Guan carried the male one, arriving at the above mentioned place on the nightfall of the second day. So, on the second day, they brought their piglets, quote unquote piglets, to this place called Kiangan. Having arrived in Kiangan, they took up their lodging in the house of King Guan's mother. Piglets, yes, piglets. The man entering first, and then Bugan. The mother of the former was surprised and asked him, Who is this woman? The son answered, I was at a hunting place and she presented herself to me there. And I don't know where she comes from, Mom. I don't, but she's kinda hot, so Be cool, Mom, be cool. The aged mother, after looking at them for a while, when seated, addressed herself to Bugan and asked, Who are you? What do you call yourself? From where do you come from? I don't know, right? Mom, I don't know who she is, but she's kinda hot, so. The maiden replied that her name was Bugan, that she was the daughter of Hinumbian and Dakaue, that she belonged to the sky region of Luktag. But the reason for her descent to the earth plane and for accompanying her son was for her having seen him so poor and deserted, and he was kinda hot, so for which reason I took pity on him and came down to visit him and furnish him with abundance of game. And she added that on the following day the mother should send many people to collect the dead game which they had left in the lonely hut of her son. By a coincidence, the mother of the young man was also known as Bugan. There are three Bugans now, with the addition of Katalao. So, yeah, Bugan na Katalao is the mother of King Guan, who picked up Bugan from the forest, who is the second Bugan from the sky people. There are three Bugans. We don't care about this now. We'll just refer to the mom as the mom, and Bugan as Bugan, and then other Bugan. During all this, the young couple had already been united in the bond of matrimony without any of the prescribed formalities at the place called Pangaguan, and Bugan gave birth to a healthy boy whom she gave the name Palituk. I don't know which Bugan is Bugan anymore. Okay, so we are still, I don't know, one of the sky people is Bugan, one of the goddesses is Bugan, and also, yeah, that's the only Bugan we'll refer to now. Welcome back, Netuzer. Okay, so Bugan, the goddess who, saw this hot young man and decided to marry him, gave birth to a healthy son named Balitok. And the little pigs that they brought also had children, had piglets. Their baby had grown a little but did not yet know how to walk. And the goddess Bugan, being from the sky world, she did not like eating like the rest of the people of Kiangan and only ate boiled rice, birds, and meat. That's kinda sus. Why don't you like vegetables, ma'am? Are you cannibal? That's fair. The people bore her much envy because not only was she a stranger, she also didn't like the vegetables that they served her. And they strove to make her leave their town and to go back to her place of Luktag in the sky. Their envy increased when they saw her abundance of fowl and pigs. With the intention of disgusting her and driving her away, they attempted to surround her house with certain garden stuffs, greens, and fish. With these, they succeeded effectively and made Bugan sick with an intense itch and fever, for which reason she abandoned that house and went to another place, while her husband moved to a rice granary. Okay, so this goddess doesn't like fish, plants, and vegetables to the extent that she will leave your house if you surrounded it with it. So again, kinda sus. But hey, I guess that's fine. They persecuted her again in her new place, surrounding it with vegetables and other things spoken above, and causing her nausea because her stomach was not accustomed to other kinds of food. Only meat and rice. Right? It seems like she's gonna eat people. I don't know. In view of such wearisome tricks, Bugan proposed to King Guan that she wanted to return to her land at spring with their child. We have spring. I'm gonna assume this is like the sec March or April. Her husband answered her, I would also like to accompany you, but I am afraid of ascending to a higher place. There's no reason to be afraid, replied Bugan. I will take you there in the ayud being a kind of hammock. She accordingly strove to persuade him, but King Guan did not lay aside his fear. He attempted to take him up bound to a rope, but he couldn't do this. I don't know, you just afraid. I know, right? We have a spring. I guess is I mean like early in the year before rainy. So during these labors, King Bugan soared alone with her child to the heights of Luktag. And she saw that her husband had not followed her. So she went down again with her son in the band in which the Ifugaos. Okay, have you guys seen how Ifugaos carry their children? They kind of tie them up to their backs. It's actually, safe. It's like a baby carrier but made of cloth. That's how she's carrying her son, whose name is Balitok. After talking to her husband, King Guan, she said to him, as you can see, I cannot continue among your countrymen, because they hate me to death. Neither can you ascend to Lukag, but what if we can just, divide our son? Yeah, let's divide our son. And seizing a knife, Bugan divided her son into two, just in the middle, just above the waist, and made the following division. The head and the rest of the upper trunk she left to Kinguan. That so that it might be easier for him to, give a new living being to the upper parts. It might be easier. Hey, husband, take our child's upper half. I'm gonna take, like, the lower part where the feet are, where the entrails, intestines, heart, liver, and poop shoot are. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, yeah. This is joint custody of the gods. See, you can't live on the sky. I can't live on the ground. So let's just cut our child in half. Yes, she took the pee. The partition having been completed, Bugan mounted to her heavenly mansion, taking the part of her son which fell to her lot, and giving it a breath of new life, converted it into a new celestial being, retaining the very name of Balitok. Yes, the heart is in the upper part. On the other hand, the parts that she had left to her husband on earth began to corrupt and decay because King Guan, is a normal human being who doesn't know how to turn half parts of a child into a living thing because he's a normal human being. He doesn't know, he's not a necromancer. He didn't know how to reanimate it. The foul odor of the putrefied flesh reached into the dwelling place of Bugan in Luktag, and having seen, yeah, Galaxy Brain solution, chop your child in half. Now Bugan is smelling the rotten corpse of her son from the heaven. So she descended to Kabunian in order to find out what's happening to, the literal half of our son that I left to you. Oh shit, it's dead. Our son is dead. I mean, the half that I left with. So from Kabunian, she saw the evil odor came from the rotting parts of the entrails that she had left on earth in charge of her husband, which he did not magically reanimate as he should have, probably. So she cried in grief, pity, and compassion, and descending into Kiangan, she severely accused King Guan. Why had you allowed our son to rot? Why did you not magic him to life? Upon which he answered, I don't know magic. I'm not a necromancer. Our son is dead now. So, yeah. So Bugan asked him to remove the greatest possible portion of the rotting parts of her son. Consequently, she changed the head of Balituk into an owl, a nocturnal bird called the Akop by the Ifugao. Once the origin of the Kiangan custom of auguring evil from this bird and offering its sacrifices started in order for no harm to come to them. And, the ears of their son she threw into the forest, and from then grew trees that grew like chalk, half spherical, like certain, species of fungi. The nose she threw away, and it changed into a species of shell which attaches itself to trees. Of half of the excrement, wait. Okay. From her dead son's poop, she made the bill of a small bird called Ido, from which the Ifugaos augur well or ill according to certain variations of a song. From the rotting tongue, she produced a malady or a swelling of the tongue in men, which is cured with a hot egg or with a chicken, which they offer to the mother Bugan. Yeah, from the bones of the breast of, once again, a dead baby, she created a venomous serpent. From the heart, she made the rainbow. Oh, that's nice. From the finger, she made very long shells after the form of fingers. From the hair thrown in the water, she created certain little worms or maggots. From the skin, drew forth a bird of red color called the kukuk. From half of the blood, she created small bats. From the liver, she drew forth a certain disease of the breast. From the intestines, she formed a class of large animals resembling rabbits or rats. From the bone, she made pieces of dry and rotten wood that fall from trees upon passerbys who look at them. And the balitok that Bugan took, the lower part that she turned into a bird, remained in the sky region of Luktag. And that is the story of Bugan in Kinguan. Always remember to ask your husband if he's a necromancer before you chop up your child in tea. And you thought they were going to replace the upper body with an animal like what they did. Yeah, yeah, we didn't. We didn't make. We could have made a half turtle. What animal is there? I don't know. We could have made a half cow man or something, but no. But no. Started up confused about everyone's names. That was the least confusing part because okay, so if you divorce and want to split child custody, simply cut the child in half. Do you want it crosswise or lengthwise? Gods create the universe. Also, they lack fucking logic. Your son is dead, and yeah. So, so that is the story of Bugan, and there were three Bugans, one naked guy in the woods, and like a half baby. And from the upper half of the baby came many animals after it became a rotten corpse, and the lower half just became a sky bird. The end. And that is our last story about the gods and goddesses of folklore. I hope. Oh yeah, also breast disease and also a tongue disease. Yeah, you're back. Hi, Benedict. You missed a wild ride. But also, I refuse to talk about it again. Suspicious goddess boo. Right. And that's it. That's it for today's storytelling. I am out of breath and also, yeah, you could always go back to the VOD, I guess. I guess. Thank you. Thank you for the hydrate. We don't talk about the time a goddess assumed that her human husband is a necromancer and therefore chopped her child in half and the other half alive. It's fine. You're welcome. You're welcome for the stories. Now we are all cursed with this knowledge together. Let me go to chat overlay to normal chat over. Alright. Future plans. And I hope you guys enjoyed that stream, enjoyed that story. It's a fun. It's fun. It's fine. They must file this case to the court. Yes, probably. Now you know about gods and goddesses, how they're kind of fucked. One woman stole a guy's husband, another woman chopped her child in half. Totally normal. I don't think teaching kids this morning would turn on. Yeah. The gods are never perfect. Look, that's the fun thing about mythology. The gods are fucked up. And they also have like the almighty power to make things more fucked up. I'm going to run a poll later on Twitter if you guys want no, not a folklore storytelling, a watch along, because personally I want to watch Dorororo. Someone wants to watch Barangay 143. Well, I kind of want to try having a watch along on Twitch, so I'm gonna run that poll later next week. Yeah, Dororo. Dororo is, did I said an extra ro? Sorry. The gods feel like really old shit posters sometimes. Yeah, they do. Dororo is that anime from about a doll boy who has to kill a lot of Japanese mythological creatures in order to retain his humanity. So it depends on how you want to cry. Do you want to cry because the plot is so stupid, or do you want to cry because the plot is so sad? Either way, we're going to suffer. Gods don't have the power to increase intelligence. Yes, they have increased power and not enough intelligence. Oh yeah, the demon ate his body. They sacrificed the demon. Yeah, personally, I want to watch Dororo, but it's also up to you guys. I'm gonna run that poll after this stream. I still don't have a schedule up for next week, but I recently changed jobs, so I think I'll have more time and I'll be able to stream at an earlier or later hour because I'm not pressured to wake up that early or also like wake up that early or go home that quickly now that I've jobs. So yeah, good luck. Thank you, thank you. 2019 anime of Dororo was a yeah. I wasn't able to watch the 1950s one, and then I think I watched the 2019 anime up to that very very sad episode, and then my heart couldn't take it anymore. It's very sad. Let's look for someone to raid. Look for someone to raid. You guys have any like suggestions on who to raid while I'm searching Twitch for who in my follows? Yes, congrats, new job. Congrats to you too, Nike. We're both going to have to change a bunch of our schedules. Oh! Did we raid Mopo before? I feel like we raided Mopo. Okay, do you guys want to watch Devar? Do you want to watch Yakuza? Or... Oh, Mopo is ending. Okay, let's not watch Mopo then. Do you guys want to watch Devar? Or... Okay, Devar. Devar. Who do we watch playing Devar? There are 3 people. One of these people we haven't raided yet. Kain. Aw, Elias using the gift art we gave us. Isai gave us. Oh. Yeah. So once again, our raid message is forget. If you are subbed in Agindari. And if you're not subbed, we can just use the fish email. So I'll see you next time hanggang sa muli. I'll see you next time maya muli. Paalam and thank you for suffering this cursed day with me.